Hey folks, don't be a whistleblower in Canada anymore. You might get a restraining order enacted against you. David Menzies for Rebel News here in the Bowmanville area of Clarington, Ontario. And I have literally returned to the scene of the alleged crime. The alleged crime being a farm carrying out halal slaughter without all the necessary permits. And this farm belongs to Mohsen Bayouin. He used to actually be a Conservative candidate for the federal riding of Scarborough Southwest, but granted it was under the leadership of the quisling Aaron O'Toole. But in any event, what was incredible, folks, was that first there was the crime, i.e. illegal slaughter of animals on this property, and then came the cover-up. People saying that there was no crime. In fact, this was Islamophobia running amok in Clarington, and they depicted Mohsen as a victim. They even had a rally for him. It was attended by Liberal MPs, all about stamping out Islamophobia in this region. But Mohsen was his own worst enemy. We found Facebook marketplace ads where he was selling his Sharia slaughtered animals without a license. So he incriminated himself. And folks, the reason why we have returned, you might recognize John Mutton, former mayor of Clarington. We interviewed him the first time. He is one of the whistleblowers in terms of what's going on at this farm. And here's what's new. John is going to be in court next month, August 10th to be precise, because Mohsen is doubling down. He wants a restraining order on Mr. Mutton, but the question arises, why? So let me get right to the crux of the matter, John. What did you do, pray tell, to this individual that he needs a restraining order for you?
Oh, I have no clue. I've never been within 10 feet of him, and nor within 20 feet of his wife. So I think that he's just gone into the police department. I've heard that he was trying to get me charged with hate crimes or harassment. Obviously, there's no proof of anything. I haven't done anything like that, and so he's taking me to court for a restraining order, of which obviously I didn't do anything. So it's going to be a laughing matter, but a real waste of taxpayers' dollars, that's for sure.
You know, it's outrageous. I believe you. I don't think you uttered any threats. What you did, as I said earlier, is that you were a whistleblower about a legitimate crime occurring at this farm. But I guess he feels so entitled, doesn't he? He had the Liberal Party of Canada come to his aid. He had the trained SEALs in the mainstream media. He had a Islamist organization threatening people with defamation if they dare repeat any of these facts. So now, I guess, he's all in. He wants to give you aggro just for the sake of the fact that you were a whistleblower.
Yeah, exactly. And this isn't the only thing that I've whistleblown about. You know, there's been some obviously other animal cruelty related issues, infrastructure issues, tax issues, provincial issues. So I've done lots of this type of work before. So I think it's another greatest backfire of all time. I'm glad he never was elected, because he doesn't have a political idea in his head. Because when you take a look, we're going to go to court, and I'm sure there's going to be 200 or 300 people there supporting me. And obviously, it's going to bring probably a lot more drama to this than is necessary. And I've been contacted by some Muslim organizations that feel that they've been politically used by Mohsen and by the Liberal Party and the Mayor and Councillor Granville Anderson in Clarington. They've been politically used and using the racism Islamophobic card. And they've asked me to come up to the opening of a couple of their new private schools and different things to break bread with them. And And that's fine. We know what it's about, and I actually feel bad for them that someone was to come forward, and then all these real left-wing woke liberals jump in, and the mayor and Councillor Anderson, to try to create this cloud of racism that never existed until they brought it into play.
John, in the big picture, I find this to be a very distressing kind of story, because if it was someone that looked like you or I illegally slaughtering animals, well, we wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell wriggling out of that, much less having the media party and the Liberal Party coming to our defense. And the only difference is he is a Muslim, and therefore they thought they could make political hay out of this. Do I have that right?
I think so. I think I've heard a lot and read a lot more about the two-tier justice system that's in place right now, and I believe that the politicians are vote pandering. And I would say, even from the Muslim friends that I spoke to, is they don't like it either. They don't like being used, and that's exactly what's going on. Is people are being used. So there's good and bad, white, brown, black, or blue. There's good and bad, and that's what it's all about: is lawfulness, and everyone should be treated the same. And that's not happening here, David.
100%. And not to mention, we also have eyewitness accounts of men who were in so-called kill suits in a makeshift slaughterhouse carrying out those deeds. We have video evidence of him grabbing ducks and geese by the wings. Like I said, the Facebook marketplace. So it's not he said, she said. There is evidence. Now, John, let's fast forward to August 10th. You'll be in an Oshawa court. I've never sat through a court proceeding where someone is requesting a restraining order. So how does it work? Is Motion going to go up there and make his case, and then a judge decides, yep, you are a clear and present danger to this Muslim hobby farmer?
Well, I understand it's extremely hard to prove. You have to have facts and actually prove that your life or your property is at danger, and it obviously isn't. I've said it time and time again. I have no interest except for seeing someone be law-abiding. That's all.
And let's be absolutely clear, you never said or wrote anything considered threatening to his well-being or property.
Absolutely not. And David, I'm the for an old guy, we call them masters. I'm the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. I can't touch anybody. I won't be able to, fly around the world and fight. It's just
Is that right?
Yeah, I can't touch anybody in that type of manner, nor would I. And we're taught in the martial arts to be, we think before we act.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since we're here, I'm looking over at the property. John Motion will not come on camera. Last time I was here, I hand-delivered an envelope with about 10 or 11 questions. Never heard back from him. But I'm looking at all these birds. That's a hell of a lot of birds for someone slaughtering them, allegedly, just for personal consumption.
Well, I read that there's 600 birds. That's what was released to one of the major media outlets. And a couple of the other local farmers said that's way too many to have on a property. And the fact that if they had over 100 birds, they'd be getting visited by the ministry as having too many birds.
In the Department of Plenty of blame to go around, John. I did reach out to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. To their credit, they got back to me. They said they were unaware of this. Now they are most certainly aware, given the media coverage. I don't see them here. I don't know. Maybe there's some healthy ostriches somewhere in Canada to slaughter.
Well, I'm thinking that they're not here because it's not a registered business or a registered farm, and their investigation should be on who's registered. Now, if they have someone that's unregistered, then obviously that's got to be a different enforcement division, I guess. So
interesting. Yeah. And also, where are the animal rights groups? Where's PETA?
Well, we don't know where PETA is. We've seen some animal rights groups out there. Everyone, and there's been, hundreds of thousands of people that have responded to not only your news story, but my social media updates. All people that are saying, where's PETA? They were there for the ostriches to make sure that happened. Why aren't they here?
Incredible. Well, John, you have my assurance. We will be in that Oshawa court on August the 10th. I think 2 p.m.
Yes,
is the
correct.
time for the proceedings. So we will be there. And folks, I mean, this has to be observed. This has to be called out. We're supposed to have the same kind of justice for everyone. Lady Justice, that icon, holding the sword and the scales, and she's wearing the blindfold. Well, in Mark Carney's Canada, Lady Justice is wearing X-ray glasses when it comes to certain identifiable groups. It's not right, and we got to call it out. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, I know you love it when Rebel News tells you the other side of the story, but the fact is we need your help. Unlike the trained SEALs in the mainstream media, we don't receive a single nickel of government funding, nor would we accept it if it was ever offered. But here's where you come in. If you're able to, can you kindly go to rebelfieldreports.com? That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you're able, kindly make a donation.